Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and we continue with the 2024 Astrology Marathon. And today, my guest is the astrologer Bianca, who will lead us through the whole 2024. She'll do predictions based on the major aspect that she thinks are important. Hello, Bianca.
Hello, Lada. Hello, everyone. So great to see you. So great to be here to talk about the new year. It's
Yes,
just
I'm
a few days.
excited. I'm excited
Yeah,
because you're taking on a big job. That's the whole year. I'm very curious to see how you interpret it through your eyes. Not everyone would take such a big topic. And I will be sharing Bianca's presentation because she's on the tablet. And by the way, just to let you know, Bianca is offering 25% of all her readings till January. What was it? Till January 15th?
15th.
Okay.
Until the 15th of January. On all the readings, especially the yearly readings, a must, I think, for this year. But you are actually very right, because it is indeed a very rich year. It has so many important things going on. And I really had a hard time choosing what to focus on, because I wanted to talk about everything, but we only have limited time. So I had to think about what to focus the most, because this will be a very active, fiery, violent, shocking again year. We're not going to stop getting shocked and surprised and glued in our television stations for sure. And I would also say that it's a decisive year for what the future holds for us as a whole, as a society and as humanity, because really some very important things are going to happen, some major configurations, and they're also triggering some other charts of other major astrological phenomena and events that we had in the past years. So yeah, it is really important. And maybe at first glance, maybe it's not so obvious when we look at the astrological energies of the year, the planetary aspects and stuff. But when we look deeper, we will see that there is very much an atmosphere of war, volatility, violence, terrorism, assassinations. All these things will continue, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie to people and say, a miracle is going to happen and everything will end. Because as we have seen since 2020, when the major synodic cycles, marking the end of the era and the reset of the universe, when we're just at the beginning. So basically, this year triggers some very important dates related to those events. That's why I judge this year to be very decisive in that sense, that things will happen that will force us to get on a different path, whether we want it or not. And issues related to racism are going to be around a lot.
To what? Society sorry? Issues related?
Racism. Racism.
Race. Okay.
Yeah, racism, and the society being gripped by extreme fear or extreme anger, also extreme demonstrations, unrest, extreme power games and control issues. Thirst for blood, that's something that we're going to see playing out a lot, because also it's a year that has a lot of selfishness and selfish energies in it, because Mars is quite active this year. Not every year it's the same equally important, let's say. But
is there a way you can be closer to the microphone? I can't. It's very low, the sound. Sorry, it's like
because it's raining and maybe the sound. Let me just close the door for a second. Okay. I left it open for the dog, but maybe the sound is too loud. I'll close it. Okay. Is it better now?
Yes.
Do it better now? Okay.
Yes.
Because it started raining. So nuclear energy issues and topics we will see are about nuclear accidents, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you want me to start sharing the screen, or?
I think we can wait a little bit for those.
Okay.
After the introduction or the summary, we will look. But if you'd like, yeah, no problem. People can still look at the chart, no problem. But I'm not talking about the specific chart at the moment, but it doesn't really matter. So other topics there are the nuclear energy, mass destruction weapons, lethal weapons in general, artificial intelligence, space exploration, and extreme natural phenomena and natural disasters. All these are themes that will continue in the years to come, not just in 2024. But I expect the year to be quite volatile and violent. And as I said before, a lot of selfishness, and both on a world level and on a personal level, a lot of fanaticism, even to the point of paranoia at some times, because the astrological energies at certain times will form the circumstances that have the capacity for making subjective and rash decisions. That means decisions that we don't think through. And spontaneous decisions are always based on how we feel rather than on logic. And in the circumstances or these conditions certainly entails the risk of spontaneous actions or reactions that have long-term or even permanent consequences, because the nodes will be involved as well, and Pluto will be very active too. And these energies will be building during the year, and it's something that will continue and escalate the next year as well. There is a bit of a carryover or continuation of what's happening this year with next year as well, more so than other years. And on a personal level, we should keep in mind that we are these energies are very active, so we can be more aware of our reactions and our own thinking process as well. We must not react impulsively, but we must rather slow down and think things through before making decisions. And on a mundane level, though, I believe we will see a lot of violence even because of selfishness. And being selfish is another form of subjectiveness, because your decisions are always based on a personal benefit rather than anything else. And where the leaders are also humans, and they're also influenced or affected by the energies that go on. And when they are affected and they act selfishly, their decisions will also make them more subjective. And selfishness, which is represented by Mars, will be the trigger for events to happen that must happen to put humanity on the path we should be on. And that is the meaning also of the North Node in Aries. Maybe this is the meaning of the North Node in Aries as well, that we need to embark on a new 18-year-old cycle, that we will need to be more selfish, more independent, more risk takers, rather than what we have been so far. Maybe it's a new cycle of new wars that kind of need to happen, so to put us again on a new path. And probably, or this might be another one of the meanings that we could give to this energy. But it definitely speaks of new beginnings. And the cycle actually started from July, when the nodes moved to the Aries Libra axis, and they will continue because they will move to Pisces Virgo in January next year. So for the entire year, they will remain in Aries and Libra.
You mean the whole 2024, they're in Aries and Libra, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and they will end the year very close to the first degree, 0 degree something of Aries, which is very the world axis. And whenever it's triggering important events, and even more so when I don't know. So yeah, at the end of the year, that's why I'm saying all the energies are kind of and peaking towards the end of the year. We do have some months at the beginning, like in April, it's a very intense month. But as we move closer to the end of the year, everything builds up. And two keywords that would characterize the year would be closures and warlike atmosphere. And this will be felt quite strongly as well, the closure, the need for putting an end to some situations or things or relationships, whether it's personal relationships or business partnerships or even goals or achievements that we had in mind. And for whatever reason, whether we succeeded and now the circle has closed and it's time to move on to something else, or we failed and again we need to accept it and just move on with a new beginning. So this is also quite important on a mundane level as well, because we will have presidential elections in the United States on the 5th of November. And the day of the elections falls in the shadow period of both Mars and Mercury, because both they will turn retrograde close to the end of the year. Mars on 7th of December at 6 and 10 minutes of Leo, and Mercury on 26th of November at 22 and 40 Sagittarius. And this means that events that took place or are related to the US elections will carry over to 2025 as well. And to be precise, Mercury's position brings to the game events or situations that will happen around the beginning of the year, around 7th of January 2024, because that is the day when Mercury will station direct at 2210 Sagittarius. Mercury will turn the retrograde on the 13th of December and until 7th of January next year. But it will turn direct, or will have turned direct by the time the by the time the video goes live on 13th of December at 8 Capricorn. And on 26th of November, though, at the end of the year, it will turn retrograde very near this degree at 2240 Sagittarius. It's the same degree, just a little difference in the minutes. So it's the point where it will end its retrograde now. It will begin its retrograde at the end of the year. So there is a connection basically between the beginning of the year and the end of the year. So discussions that will take place around the beginning of the year, or some decisions that might be made, or some goals, or some plans, anything related to what Mercury rules, will be resurfaced at the end of the year, and will need some time of readjustment. We will need to take another look at them. It's going to be a review time, basically. What we have decided, what we have put in action or followed, we need to see, did it work, did it not work, do we need to change it, do we need to let it go altogether? It's definitely going to be kind of a readjustment time. And right now, we're already in Mercury shadow period since the 25th of November. So anything that happens from now until the 13th of December most likely will resurface again in late November and early December 2024 as well. And as a matter of fact, we're kind of in the same situation right now, because Mercury stationed retrograde last year at 829 Capricorn. And so this is the degree that will turn retrograde now. And it directly relates events or situations that happened during that time, around 18th of January 2023. And during the retrogrades of Mercury and Mars, they will trigger some important astrological charts of major astrological events, such as eclipses. This is quite, there are quite a lot of eclipses that have been triggered this year. And this means that they will bring events related to the eclipses. And we know that events related to eclipses are always more faded, more karmic, kind of force majeure situations out of our control. For example, Mars will station retrograde at 610 Leo and will trigger the eclipse that happened in the Taurus-Scorpio axis. And the most recent one was the one on the 28th of October, which happened at 5 degrees of Taurus. It will square it. And Mars always has this triggering effect. It's an energy that we always feel, even on a personal level. It's not something that goes unnoticed. And going, and then you can see if it can be shown. Which is definitely the most important cycle, will be a triple conjunction, actually, because Venus will be close by. Venus will be at 27 Capricorn at the time and will conjunct Mars and Pluto a couple of days later. And Mars and Pluto will be at 028 Aquarius. Venus, and therefore that triple conjunction, because Venus is the first planet, but because it conjuncts Mars and Pluto, they become part of the configuration as well. So there is a triple conjunction as the first energy of the configuration that is created in the chart, and Uranus is the last. So it could mean again that some closures that need to happen, and but this entire period will end with some shocking or unexpected situations or developments because of Uranus as the last planet of the configuration. And what is interesting is that Sun is at the degree where Saturn stationed retrograde last year, last year, on the 25th degree of Aquarius. And also Saturn is at 759 Pisces, and it's very close to the point it stationed retrograde this year as well, in June 2023. Actually, Saturn retrograded on that degree in 2022, not this year, because this year it was in Pisces. So Saturn is quite activated as well. The Moon is with the North Node in that chart, which again brings in these karmic, faded situations. And about 12 hours after the conjunction, it will trigger it, which actually it's going to happen like 6 hours earlier because it will square Venus first. So the conjunction, the triple conjunction, will start be working, and its influence will be much longer than usual. It will last until probably around 6 to 8 hours or even more. And Venus triggers the Moon-Pluto midpoint as well. So this could be meaning a lot of pregnancies, possibly due to rape. I can see that as a possibility. Or alternatively, a lot of births taking place because of pregnancies, again, either due to rape or some kind of violence or some kind of treatment, not natural how do you call it now? Conception. Conception. Thank you, Lada. Or even births of orphan children, because one of the parents, the father maybe was killed in war or lost or sacrificed for some reason. I don't know. It's a really difficult midpoint, and it falls in Pisces as well. So yeah, these are things that we could be hearing about or bringing, or radical changes in our beliefs or the way we see religion. And or a scandal might come up again could be involving stolen babies or trafficking or adoption, things like that. The overall combination of the energies of the conjunction chart could definitely have to do with real estate, properties, or losses, or even land lost because of war, land changing hands because of war, or land losing its value, even because of war situations in the neighborhood, or neighborhood, I mean the general area, not in a country. Or we could see extreme volcano eruptions, fires, very strong earthquakes, large-scale cyber attacks, extreme nationalism, or violence against women and families also can be part of the what we hear during the year as well. So war, terrorism, and extreme fear. Saturn Pluto speak about extreme fear, and Mars Pluto again can be talking about extreme fear. And to feel extreme fear, especially when large masses of people feel extreme fear, it means that some serious events are going on. So there are definitely important connections to the past in this chart. Hence my conclusion that we will start seeing events that are related to the synodic cycle of Saturn Pluto, which is the most important thing of the past few years, and will reset everything and life as we have known it. And another important point to note is that there are no retrograde planets in that chart. Okay, I didn't write notes for all of them because we were going to see the charts, so I was going to look at them, but never mind. I will say a few things about the Mars square Pluto, which is the last Mars square Pluto. Actually, the last one happened on 9th of October, and that was 2 days after the Hamas-Israel war started, and just 2-3 days after the Mars South Node conjunction. And these were two really important energies, and they brought the war, and so suddenly, as we all saw. And the last time we had some similar energies, we also had the Nagorno-Karabakh sudden war breaking out. Maybe we'll hear more about those areas as well. I will look a little bit into astrocartography in a few minutes. And then the last one is the Mars opposition Pluto, which will happen on the 3rd of November 2024. And it will oppose, Mars will oppose Pluto at 2946 Cancer Capricorn from Cancer, and Pluto will be retrograde. And this is a very violent aspect. There are very intense energies, and the planets, both planets, are on the verge of changing signs. And Mars is in one of the worst positions on the zodiac. And Pluto is not that great in Capricorn either. And because Pluto is ready to move into Aquarius for the next 20 years, the aspect definitely speaks for kind of like last chances for final closures. Some things need to go, and they will be gone whether we want it or not. When with Pluto, we never look back. It's like a final and permanent end. And that's why we always say whenever Pluto is involved in some aspects, if we don't want things to break up permanently, we don't pull the ropes too hard. And this is especially even more important because Pluto will not return to Capricorn for another 248 years. So everything that Pluto wanted to bring during its transit from Capricorn will be finishing at that time. And in this chart, it could also be talking about the major economic crisis as well. possibly because of wars too, or terrorism, or extreme weather conditions, or natural phenomena, and general radical changes to the way we use money or currencies and stuff like that. Maybe some of the currencies will stop existing altogether as well. And the chart for the opposition of Mars-Pluto, it's really quite rare. There is a very rare configuration. I don't remember seeing anything like it, at least in any of my clients. But you can see that Pluto is at the apex of a kite with Mars, Mercury. On one side it's Mars, Mercury with the Moon, and Neptune with the North Node. They're forming the kite, the kite with Pluto at the apex. And all this tension, which is triggered by Mars in Cancer, in fall position, is coming out through Pluto at 2948 Capricorn. And Pluto also participates in another rare configuration with the Neptune, which is at the apex of a grand trine with Moon and Mercury and Mars, and the apex of another minor trine with Pluto and Uranus. So, and furthermore, Pluto, Uranus, Mars, and Moon, Mercury form a mystic rectangle. So again, this is a very karmic and faded and very strong, powerful energies. It's not something we see every day. And Mars-Pluto cycles are also very destructive but regenerative at the same time. And the 0 degree of Aquarius, which is also important in this chart, and is a very important degree in general, has been quite important during the past few years as well. And it's a degree that we also had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction taking place on 0 Aquarius on the 21st of December 2021. And it is the degree that is highly active at the moment, as Pluto will make its second pass in Aquarius from January until September. And Mars will trigger that degree 4 times. Some triggers will happen in 2025, but they will originate from this year. So because Mars will oppose 3 times Pluto, not all of them will happen this year. That's why the energy carries over. And we have had eclipses affecting the 0 degree of Aquarius. The latest one was on 21st of January 2019 at the 048 Leo. The previous one, 21st of January 2000 at 028 Leo again. And the Mars-Pluto conjunction at 046 Aquarius can definitely be related to events that were going on or happened after those eclipses. And on 23rd of October 2014, again, we had a partial solar eclipse at 018 Scorpio, which again is triggered. And these are just some examples because there are definitely a lot more charts impacted as well. For example, the part of the fall equinox, because Pluto was at 0 degrees in that chart, and the conjunction could trigger events related to the period from 21st of September to 21st of December. And I wanted to look a little bit at the astrocartography to see where the lines of the, at least the major lines go through. The Mars-Pluto conjunction goes through Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan border, the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border, Uzbekistan. Right below Sri Lanka, we have Mercury-Uranus. I don't know if that could bring like an earthquake or tsunami or something. Indonesia, Indian Sea. Extreme weather conditions are also possible. Texas, in the US-Canada border, Brazil, Argentina. Through Argentina, we have Chiron and the North Node. The Mars-Saturn conjunction, which also speaks about repressed anger, frustration, military situations. Mars-Saturn is also the police or the army. So we could be seeing a lot more issues or topics related to policing or even coups, military action. Oh, the presentation has just appeared. This line affects...
Which one should I bring up? Finally, I was able to do it with my husband here for the last few minutes.
Okay, great. Okay, so we can at least people can see it at the end. Let's go to the astrocartography for Mars-Saturn conjunction.
This one.
It's the second aspect. Yes, I think it's this one. Mars-Saturn conjunction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it affects Denmark, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Montenegro, Albania, Greenland. We have Sun, Chiron, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn going there, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, India, Nepal, Tibet, the Uranus, Moon, Jupiter, Pluto line goes there, Alaska, San Francisco, Pluto, North Node, Chiron, Sun, Mercury through San Francisco, near San Francisco, Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Greenland again, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela. The Mars-Neptune conjunction, which is the next slide. Okay, this is the chart and I wrote some of the main characteristics. Let's go to the next slide to see the astrocartography. I will mention the countries. Again, Kazakhstan, India, Pakistan border, Portugal, London, England is very much affected, Iceland, and Mars-Neptune could also be talking about tsunamis or explosions or even gas leaks, things like that. And because Iceland is affected, maybe during that time we will have problems or see events related to the volcano that has been active for a while now but hasn't erupted yet. Nigeria, Mauritania, Togo, Ghana, Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, Chad, San Pluto goes through Chad, Sudan, Central Africa, Philippines, Indonesia, Beijing. Those countries, especially Philippines, Indonesia, Beijing, again, we might see floods or tsunamis or there are a lot of areas that are around the sea. A lot of countries that I mentioned are by the sea, so other countries might be affected by tsunamis or floods as well. It's Mars-Neptune, or as I said, explosions. And even nuclear explosions could be relevant, or accidents involving the sea as well. But Mars-Neptune can also be talking about cyber attacks, again, terrorists, undercover actions as well. Gas, biological weapons. Then we have the Mars-North Node conjunction on 18th of May 2024, which is the next slide. And we can go directly to the astrocartography as well, because we said everything else. And it affects Greenland, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, or Skopje, Libya, Niger, Chad, Central Africa, Angola, Namibia, South Africa, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Pacific Ocean, east of New Zealand, Mexico, and Brazil. And Mars North Node, because Mars has to do with the army and the security bodies, police, etc. And Sweden, Denmark, Finland are affected. Maybe it could we could have some developments related to the NATO membership or the closure of some borders or something like that. It's definitely something that it's meant to happen, though. Whatever it is, either whatever, if they are accepted or not accepted, this is what it's meant to happen because of the North Node. The next one is the Mars-Pluto square, which is the first square in the Mars-Pluto conjunction. So it's related to 14th of February as well. And it goes through Washington, D.C. Maybe we will see some power games here related to the presidential elections, a lot of debates, a lot of below the belt hits or scandals coming up, or even assassination attempts. Pluto could definitely be talking about something like that. Who knows? It goes through Washington, D.C., as I said, China, Mongolia, Burma, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan border, Greenland. Greenland is affected very much. Uranus, Saturn. Maybe there will be an earthquake there as well, or an explosion of I forgot now, the volcano. Brazil, Moon, Uranus, Pacific Ocean. Pluto Mars goes through the Pacific Ocean again. Near Darwin, Australia, Indonesia, maybe a terrorist attack, Mars Pluto. I think there were terrorist attacks in the past in Indonesia. Zimbabwe, Moon Uranus, maybe sudden unrest among the people, demonstrations. Chad, Mars Pluto, and I think we had Sun Pluto earlier, so maybe something will happen in Chad, extreme violence or someone getting killed. Libya, Sudan, Egypt. And the Mars-Pluto position on 3rd of November 2024. Okay, that's the slide. We have goes through, which, as I said, I consider this quite important because it will repeat next year, and every time we have repeated aspects, they are more, and their duration is much more, and they are much more important. Their events come in doses, not at once. India is affected near the border with Nepal, Nigeria, Niger, Algeria, Libya, Italy, Kosovo, Bulgaria, Japan. There is Mars-Neptune line going through Japan. So again, we might see tsunami there or something. And Canada. And finally, the last slide.
That's November, isn't it?
That is in November.
3rd of November, yeah. I'm just telling to the American viewers, the dates are written in the way we write them in Europe. So the date is first, the month is second. Because I think it's March.
Right. It's 3rd of November, and it's very 2 days before the presidential elections, actually, too, because they are on the 5th of November. So yeah, it's a really important. Maybe there will be violence or demonstrations after the elections, or during, or before. There are some similarities to 2021 and what had happened in the Capitol. Of course, I'm not saying that the same thing will happen, but we might see a surge of violence on the streets, or policing, stricter policing, just to keep things in hand. So if we can go to the last slide, I have set 3 important dates to mention, which is the 11th of January, new moon at 20 and 44 Capricorn, which squares the nodes and triggers the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of 12 January 2020 directly, and the solar eclipse that took place on 10th of January. So it's an important new moon cycle until the 12th of February, approximately around that day. And then immediately the Mars-Pluto conjunction happens. 8th of April, they have a total solar eclipse at 1923 Aries, which again triggers the similar things like the new moon, because it's the same degree of the cardinal axis. And it also triggers the Mars-Chiron conjunction as well. And in July, the full moon at the very end of Capricorn triggers the eclipse of 20 April 23, which happened at the very end of Aries by square. And that's all, I think. Oh, actually, we have the Mars-Uranus conjunction, which takes place on the 15th of July 24, and I didn't mention the countries it goes through. I'll just run through them. Ontario, Toronto, Chicago, Houston, Mexico, Calcutta, Kathmandu, Russia, Mongolia, Kazakhstan border, Nepal, Tibet, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan. And that's all from me for this very important and special and intense year that we have ahead. I hope I didn't tire everyone with all the data.
It was a lot of information. Thank you so much. I wish I could have put earlier your presentation so people can see all the dates and all the I'm sorry about that.
No worries, no problem. I'm sure they can see in the end whatever they need to. Thank you so much, Lada, and I wish you
so much, Bianca. So it's a very Mars-like here. Very there's danger of violence. There's danger of Mars events, and it's at first when you look at the year, it's like, oh, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. But then when you look deeper, Mars is doing a lot of very major, very intense. And just like you said last time, Mars played with Pluto, the war in Israel and Palestine erupted. And we're going to have a lot more of those repeats now of aspects between them. So guys, be safe, be alert, I would say, and more conscious. That's what you can make always the best with the aspects when you're more aware, more conscious. And thank you so much, Bianca. Anyone who would like to contact Bianca, I'll put the link below in the description. As you can see, she's very detailed astrologer. She does not miss anything. Triggers, activations, and so on. Thank you so much, Bianca. And again, thank you everyone for joining us.
New Year, everyone, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.